this course, the main thing I want to teach you is skills. It's almost like building your arsenal of techniques as a keyboard player. And the initial skill, the first skill that we're going to learn today is octaves. Octaves in the right hand. An octave is when we're playing the same note, but in two different octaves at the same time. And we can do that with one hand. The hand span can reach from, for example, here, D sharp, up to the next D sharp. In fact, the layout of the piano is made with the width in mind of the average human hand. You can see that I can only just reach beyond an octave. So an octave is almost always the most comfortable width that we can play on the keyboard. So bulking out a melody with octaves is a really common thing to do as a keyboard player. It gives a lot more power to what otherwise would have just been, which still sounds good, but doesn't have the same impact. And today we're learning this octave skill with a song that makes great use of it, the song Starlight by Muse. Starlight is built around this piano riff that is performed in octaves. So what we're going to do, how we're going to approach this, is we're going to initially learn it as single notes. Because before we apply the octave to the melody, it's good to be very familiar with the notes of that melody. So we're going to keep things simple to begin with, just learn the melody in this form. And then after that, we will add the octaves. And then finally, we will introduce the left hand and we'll have the entire piece. So let's look at the notes that are being played here. The thing about this riff is it's built around chords. It may not be immediately obvious, but if we look at the notes of each segment of the riff, they're actually arpeggiating there, breaking up what is effectively a chord. Now, if you don't know what these particular chords are, don't worry, you don't have to know what the chords are to perform this, but it can be a useful way of remembering what notes we're going to need to play. So let me talk you through now what notes are going to be involved in this riff. We start on D sharp, B, F sharp, D sharp, E, C sharp, G sharp, and then we get this little turnaround figure that happens a couple times. E, D sharp, C sharp, D sharp, and then we go B, G sharp, D sharp, E, B, G sharp, and then that turnaround thing again. So I mentioned that the riff is built from these different chords. The chords that we are outlining here, although they're inverted, are a B major chord, and then it goes to a C sharp minor chord, then we get the little turnaround, and then it's a G sharp minor chord, and then an E major chord, and then the little turnaround again. That's it. So if you are familiar with chords already, latching on to those chords is a really good way of remembering the different notes that are going to be in this riff. Now remember that we have all of these notes written out on the PDFs that come with this course, so of course it can be a lot of information to suddenly pick this up just by watching, so don't forget to make good use of those PDFs as well. So let me now play you the riff in its single note form like we are here, and I'll start nice and slow, and then I'll progress up to the tempo of the original record. So that's it, and let me make it a bit faster. And one more time at a full tempo. That's it. So focus on getting this memorized. Focus on being able to play it from memory without having to look at any resource, without having to look at the page or the video, just the keyboard. Because if you can just look at the keyboard and play it, then you're going to have enough confidence to then elevate this up to octaves, where we're going to need a lot more attention given to where our hands are moving. So focus on getting that memorized, and then we can move on to the next video, which will be all about playing this in the octaves.